how'd you think the team played overall this weekend? And what do you think you guys can improve on going into a pretty big matchup against an LSC rival in Angelo State?
I thought we played really well starting off the game, pretty sharp in all phases. And we got a little bit of a lead, we got a little comfortable, we got a little complacent. And, did some things uncharacteristic, some individual penalties, and bring the attention to themselves, and address that with the guys that were involved in that. And we came out in the second half, and I think we started the same way, crisp, ready to go. Thought our running game and our offensive line did a great job against this opponent, but it's only going to get tougher. We had a lapse and middle mistake to get a pass down the middle, which is really our only critical error on defense. And offensively, we just moved the ball and did the right things. Other than that, we did kicking by committee, and we had 5 different guys kick extra points, and different guys kick off, different guys punt. So got all the kickers involved. We played, I think, 88 people in this game, so which is by far the most I've ever seen play in 1 week. So.
Was this the most efficient you've ever seen Nick Gerber? 16 for 17 with 187 yards, 3 touchdowns. I mean, not too shabby.
Yeah, it's the one he missed, though, that I'm a little upset about. That's what gets me. It's like, you're this close to perfection. Nick's got a really good control of our offense and what we're doing. And he and Coach Martin have a great relationship when it comes to football. And he knows what Coach Martin wants, knows what his expectations are. And Nick's hard on himself. I mean, Nick will probably, the first thing I'll tell you is about the one he missed as well. So, it's been really neat and special seeing him develop from last year to this year. And I'm just glad he's quarterbacking our team.
Heading up to the game, you said you wanted to see more out of the defense, tackling, pressures, 7 sacks. You guys seem to really step up and answer the call.
Yeah, we missed a lot of tackles, though. So, it's great to get all those sacks. It's great to do all that kind of stuff. But we got to focus on the mistakes we made and correct those mistakes so we're able to move forward. This is a different type of opponent this week. This is their first game. We don't know a whole lot about them. They've lost a lot of guys. I'm glad they've lost 2 receivers that were really dang good last year. One's going to be suiting up for Missouri this year. So I'm excited to go in and play a Lone Star Conference opponent. I'm glad there's another one playing as we continue to look for games. But they are, I'm sure they'll be ready. I'm sure they've been, just like we were for last week. They've been hitting each other and practicing against each other, and they wanted us to come down there first, and we're more than happy, and we'll look forward to seeing them again on the 24th.
You mentioned the 88 players playing a lot of guys. A lot of those guys were young. They're freshman kids or redshirt freshman kids. Were there a couple of young players that stood out to you from Saturday?
They all made their freshman type mistakes. The guys I think you could look to that are going to be around, over the next 4 or 5 years is Gage Smith at the safety position. I thought when he was on, he'll come get you, but he was a little overly aggressive in his first game. JT Cavender is going to be a solid inside linebacker for us in the future. Nick Pollard is a defensive lineman that's got a lot of potential, and he's a little outmanned when we start going against some of these other teams because he's just so young, but he's got drive and he's got a good solid work ethic. When we get him in the weight room for a year and get going on the offensive side of the ball, he saw what Isaiah Smallwood could do in one play, take it 70, and I told him I thought he was running out of gas. I said, watched the film this morning, and he was running by me, and I said, I heard you breathing pretty dang heavy right there, bud. Then he said, I was, Coach. I didn't know if I could make it. Then I got some young receivers. I thought Tyree Tipton is going to come in. He's improved every day, and I think he's got a shot to do something very well. And overall, I like the effort. I like the intensity. It's a different type of team coming this week, though, so we got to step it up a bit.
Angelo State, obviously, we're familiar with them. They're a Lone Star Conference opponent. There's a long time traditional WT opponent. It's a different situation now, obviously, with the short season. But you still got to kind of get the guys maybe who were back last year, say kind of like let's prepare for this like it is a conference game, like it is
Yeah.
an LSC game. Is that mentality still going to be there? You
Well,
think this week?
There's one Division II team played last week. This week, 2 Division II teams will play. So right now we're number 1 in the country. We're only undefeated team. So I mean that's why you got to look at it. So we're playing a Division II opponent and see what we can do. I think we all remember last year and how close we were and how that game we kind of circled and it cost us a little bit for a chance to go to the playoffs. And they deserved to win that game last year. So I don't know if it's revenge or just the fact that it's an opponent that we're familiar with and what they can do and being a Lone Star opponent. We want to go out and show what we're capable of doing in this conference, even though there's only 2 teams playing.
Coach, I know it's the question you've been looking forward to since all the way from last year, but I need a report card for all 3 facets of the game for this team last
For
week.
what?
For your team last week, all 3 facets. So special teams, passing, defense, letter grades. Let's go.
A letter grade
Yep.
for this past one?
Yep.
I don't know. You want offense, deep? What do you want?
Yeah. Offense, defense, special teams.
I give offense an A because they ran the ball for 415 yards. I don't care about the passing. That's good. Nick was 16 to 17, but they ran and controlled the clock. Defensively, we had 1 mental error, and so that's going to knock them down to about a B minus. And I thought special teams was overall. I'm still going to give it probably a B plus because we had some kickoffs. We had a young kid kicking off. Hunter Hill kicked off in his first game, starting the 3rd kick, and our punt average was not where we wanted it to be. And we botched an extra point snap and missed it. So probably give that a C because my expectations are a little bit higher this year.
Hunter, just talk about the We Are One video that you played before kickoff. Just how much it meant to your team.
Well, before the game, in our team meeting before we walked over, I showed it to our team, and it was pretty emotional. As I watched it, and I sat down and stood in front of them as it played, and saw the look in their eyes, and I watched it because nobody had seen the final cut except for about 5 of us, and it was pretty moving. And then, I talked to Coach Majeski at Panhandle before the game and said, this is what we're going to do. I would love for y'all to come out and join us, and we did. Then I saw a picture of that, and I thought that was I thought it was very good for what we wanted to do. I thought the message in that video came across clear for our expectations. I've gotten a lot of compliments on it about us being together, being a tight-knit group. And, the players that were involved spoke for the entire team. And when they spoke, there was meaning in their voices. There was some pain, you could tell, when they were saying some of those lines in there. There was, like a glow in their eyes that they're doing something to help in this area, in this community, to bring awareness to something that needs to be brought aware. I think the best thing was when we were walking off the field after that, seeing the crowd cheering and standing, and so appreciating what our players had done. And that's all we wanted. We wanted it. Our players wanted to not make a statement, but get it out there about what's going on.
Will that be something you guys do for other home games?
We are still looking. We are talking to 5 teams right now. We think we have one solidified. Might be a second solidified by this afternoon. And then we're not afraid to go on the road if we need to try to get a 10th game if those 2 come through. If we get those 2 come through, we'll be at 9, and we still got a weekend to look for this is all in November. I don't think we're going to fill the October 10th date. And I know somebody will be happy about that, but late November, early November, and into November, we got 3 dates that we're looking at. So
As big as this win was, won by 51 points against the team, which was obviously struggling. I guess it's just easy to get a guy to say, hey, look, that isn't indicative of what's going to happen all the time. You play really well, but this is not. Things are going to get a little tougher than this. I guess I've kind of got to embrace it. And kind of let me do that.
if we execute and play well, I mean, that could happen. I mean, I'm not going to say I think we've got some talented players, and I think they're capable of doing that. Now, can we do it every week? I mean, that's our goal, is to maintain that intensity and that level of execution. But in order to do that against good teams, we have to eliminate our mistakes. So, do I think we'll get 58 points a game? No. Do I think we'll give up just 7 a game? No. But I'm sure hopeful that happens. I know our guys are capable of doing that.
Talk about the crowd. I mean, you guys over at limited capacity. How did you feel the crowd showed up, and did you like the support?
Well, I guess I saw a tweet earlier that afternoon about the Maroon Platoon and getting excited. I kind of threw a Twitter, whatever it is, Twitter challenge out there, and so my Twitter challenge was to them. I said it's only going to be 50%, but you can make it sound like 100%. And to come out of that tunnel and see the crowd and to hear the crowd, I mean, it's pretty loud down there on the field, even with half 50%. It was exciting. I mean, the crowd was ready for some football, and just to see some live action, and our students were ready for it. And that got our players excited to come out there and do that. I appreciate the Maroon Platoon and what they do on the other side. I heard some comments from their coaching staff and about their actions over there. Not that they were bad, but they were on them, and that's what I want. I want them to be involved and have fun. And I was just privileged to go over there after the game and wave to them and thank them from the bottom of our heart, because our players really appreciate it. And they talk about it. They talk about the Maroon Platoon and what they do over there. So I love the crowd, and I'm hoping we go to 75%. And again, I'm still going to tell McBroom, leave the gates unlocked and taking tickets, leave them unlocked and let them come in after a certain point. Let's fill this place up.